On March 28th, Nigerians will be at the polls voting for a president. But as Africa's most populous country and its biggest economy braces for the presidential elections, there are worries about significant challenges posed by the new voting system created by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
They should rather get their act together and stop playing games with us. They need to create a level playing field, allow Northerners and Southerners, Christians and Muslims, every Nigerian, regardless of what your background is, where you come from, to have the ability to get their permanent voters cards, to express their will at the polls. That's what we're asking them to do.
Across the country, many have little faith in the new system, which experts believe will prevent voter fraud and ensure the 2015 election is free and fair.
I think one of the biggest challenges is collection. Prior to the previous day, which was February 14th, there was obviously a large amount of people that hadn't collected their PVCs, not because they didn't want to collect it, but because they couldn't collect it.
There are deep concerns, there's no question about that. There are many areas that we're all concerned about when it comes to this new process, which is why some of us, particularly the PDP as a party, has said that they would have suggested to INEC, if they're really having challenges, to allow those with temporary voters' cards to also vote and use those cards. Well, that was rejected by INEC, and that's fair enough. It's their call.
The uncertainty is spreading over this: permanent voter cards, or PVCs, and the card readers designed to authenticate them. Here's how it's supposed to work.
This is the smart card reader. When you come with your card, there's a microchip here. You place the card reader here, which will verify this card, that this card is genuine. It's the INEC production. Once it is tested and verified, then we go ahead to ask the voter to put his finger here, to authenticate the ownership of the card. Once it is authenticated, the machine will tell you it is a genuine card.
If that card was issued by INEC at that polling booth, it will say authorized.
PVCs are smart-based voter identification cards. They store voter information such as biodata, biometrics, and facial image. Although the PVCs will likely prevent wide-scale electoral fraud, actually collecting one has proved challenging in some areas, and now people are speaking out.
The very day I wanted to go and collect it, I was to be on road, but my mother said I should not come. And thank God, if not because she advised me, the very day I wanted to go, that was the time Boko Haram came and attacked on the road I wanted to follow. So, and to that now, it has now resulted with, even right now, I don't have my PVC and there's no way I can get it.
It's also important to note that the presidential elections previously scheduled for February 14th had to be postponed, though INEC chairman Professor Atahiru Jaga blamed the postponement on security issues.
The Commission is specifically concerned about the security of our ad hoc staff, the young men and women of the NYSC and students of tertiary education, the risk of deploying young men and women and calling people to exercise their democratic rights in a situation where their security cannot be guaranteed is a most enormous responsibility.
But if the elections had been held on February 14th as originally planned, will INEC have been ready?
For matters under the control of INEC is substantially ready for the general elections as scheduled.
INEC resident electoral commissioners and other officials agree with their boss.
Definitely, we are more than ready. We've gotten the non-sensitive materials for the state, which has been distributed to all the 20 local governments in the state.
We've tried this in Ekiti, we've tried it in Osun, and it's worked for us. So we're expecting that 2015 elections, it should work nationally everywhere.
According to INEC, about 82% of the national population have collected their PVCs. And here's a tale of the tape for PVC collection and distribution in some of the country's largest states. Lagos has a collection rate of 65.25%. In Delta, the collection rate is at 85.26%. In Kano, the collection rate stands at 82.64%. Sokoto at 94.73%, and Kaduna at 93.17%. It's the states in northern Nigeria where the insurgent group Boko Haram has waged its brutal campaign that appear to be leading the way for complete PVC collection and distribution. Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe, states that have sustained the most casualties, each have collection rates of 82.62%, 72.79%, and 74.95% respectively. That's impressive, considering the hundreds of thousands of citizens who were forced to flee the violence over the last couple years. Meanwhile, Ogun State has a collection rate of 61.53%, the lowest collection rate across the country, despite the lack of violence in that area. Some states are looking to get ahead of the curve by conducting mock trials they hope will familiarize election officials with the electronic card readers. In Lagos, their test run is being touted as a complete success, with most polling wards claiming the process ran smoothly and mostly error-free. But despite the success of these card reader trials, the fear is that the presidential elections may not be the right stage to test the new voting system.
For you to introduce that kind of technology ought to have been tried in lesser elections. By-elections, House of Rep elections, territorial election, governorship elections, you graduate. You don't experiment with major elections. This election, don't forget, is capable of making or marring this country.
And it makes JEGA and INEC's gamble that much more precarious. The rewards are huge if INEC's drive to go digital pays off. If doubling down on PVCs is a success come election day and the use of biometrics changes the face of Nigerian voting, JEGA becomes a national hero.
It's a feather to his hat. He piloted it, and once the election holds and the PVC is used, I think it will go down in history, in Nigeria's democratic history, as being the person who introduced sanity into our system.
With the PDP and the APC running neck and neck, and the election still too close to call, we're watching democracy on full display.
The hallmark of democracy is that ability and power of the people, not just to elect those who they want to lead them, but also to reject them when they do not perform.
Richard Ikechuku Spiropoulos, Go Tell Africa.